I just ask that the spirit of revelation, wisdom, life would lead, infiltrate, fully inhabit this conversation right now, so that I would make sure to convey truth in a way that is accurate. Let it be so. Okay, so where do I begin? I just heard, don't confuse forgiveness with loyalty to evil. Do not confuse forgiveness with loyalty to evil, as in you might perceive that you're being forgiven as if, and that you're, therefore following some command, to have grace and be forgiving, and to have grace and to be forgiving. But all the while, it is actually allowing evil to persist, to remain, to be in your atmosphere. So many of us have been conditioned to self-abandon. This culture was not designed for self-knowingness and divine identity pursuit. It was designed to support the machine that is already in motion, that is owned by other people. So I guess that's my first disclaimer, is while we could probably point to the specific parents, family, lack thereof, that put us into these positions to where we have ended up here, and it's maddening when you start seeing it. It's a whole thing to have to deal with, It's a whole thing to have to deal with, and I highly recommend you find an illuminated, conscious therapist that understands energy and energy clearing and quantum physics, Christ consciousness, all of the above. So anyway, because you're going to need that as you start dealing with this, you're going to have that support when you find out how you've been living, and what you've been dealing with, what you've been putting up with, even through your own free will choices, but because you've been conditioned to self-abandon, self-betray for the sake of this story that we're being told. And through these fucked up principles, forgive, just forgive, while being, repeatedly abused. But, let's say it's a marriage, and if you come from a traditional background that obsesses over marriage, idolizes marriage over personal safety, health, and knowledge, anyway, I digress. So don't confuse forgiveness. Don't allow yourself to be like, oh, I'm being forgiving or I'm giving grace like God did, when you're actually by allowing the evil to be happening right here, like right in your atmosphere. Let's say you're with somebody that refuses to grow, refuses to evolve. Their entire life is like an ongoing strategic thing of just running from the requirement of growth. And some are so good at it. It's crazy. They know how to push it right up to the edge to just make enough of an effort where it's like the appearance is there, that they care, that they're trying. Like they know how to run up to the line just perfectly without actually applying themselves for real. I just ask that we would all be given eyes to see this in this moment for the people in our life, and that confirmation would come so consistently that it's like, okay, like it's the kind of thing you cannot deny. You can't deny it anymore. It's so right in front of you, and you see it all the time, and it's not going to be something where you have to sit and lose sleep about it. It's going to be so epically clear. And then, for those of us that want true alignment, we can give permission to life to make the pathway, and make the pathway out of this. Like, let that be so. Because some people, thank you that I'm not one of them anymore, but there are some people who don't see how to get out, and so therefore they just think they have to remain forever. But this is the thing. Because I was just being shown somebody who feels obligated to somebody else because of the family, literally the DNA dynamic, the DNA, the shared DNA. So it's like, that principle of what you do or don't do for family. And I get that. I get it. But I guess this is where just the warning comes in. Don't confuse being a forgiving person with actually now partnering with evil. And you might be like, well, I'm not like that. I don't do that. I'm not partnering with evil. But in a way, the enablement, it's being a enabler, because you better believe that your life brings a level of access, resources, whatever, to the person who is choosing to house evil. And the evil sounds like such a very dramatic, scary, but let's just call it pollution. It's like you're trying to clean your life constantly. You're trying to clean your energetic field constantly. You're pursuing health and clarity of mind so that you can see, so that you can, evolve, so that you can change your circumstances. And then you have this dead weight next to you that refuses to grow, refuses to clean their energetic atmospheric field, refuses. They refuse to clear their space, their energetic space. And then they keep bringing that shit in your space. Like maybe you live together, so then how annoying, first of all, to be constantly set back by somebody. And then on the other hand, too, it's like how much is the allowing to remain is participating with? How much is the allowing to remain, how much does that equate? When does that equate? When does that start to transition into participating with via your passive support? via your just refusal to allow the person to encounter their natural consequences of their refusal to grow, their refusal to evolve. And this requires discernment. Wow. I'm hearing the ringing in my right ear. I can't remember what that signifies, but something spiritual. Anywho, this requires discernment. It requires discernment because there are people that are going through stormy seasons, and it's not necessarily like their fault, you know? Sometimes people are going through stormy seasons because it's just part of their path. It's part of their learning process. It's part of what they need to know for the next level. Sometimes, like some of us had to walk through that with those kinds of people because we needed to learn that those people exist. Like, it's important that you know that. I was so naive and pure of heart as a young girl. I didn't know. And also, not properly protected. So therefore, I didn't even know. I had no grid for what properly protected looked like. I digress. And my disclaimer is that typically it's, parents don't have to give you what they weren't given, and their parents didn't give it to them because they didn't have it to give. And then sometimes life comes through with tragedies and robs us of things. So, yeah. End of fatherlessness. Like, let it be so. An end of all these insert explicit material. They're counterfeits that are taking up the positions in homes from good women who, good, I know I hate using those binary kind of terms, good, bad, but what I mean is like women who are trying, women who are running their race, and then they have this bunk ass, lame, whatever, that is in their house not trying, and just pulling her down, but doing the bare minimum so it appears as though they're like a helpful person, doing a bare minimum enough where it's kind of like they're still children, like, and they're still acting like a middle school boy, where it's like, I do enough chores to where mom's not on my ass, like mom's not gonna like bug me, but I don't, like, I'm never gonna actually like take initiative. It's always just like if they're harassed, by mom, which is their wife, like hell no. My ex-husband obviously couldn't keep up his end of the deal due to his thought patterns and his habits and his choices his free will choice to throw his being out of control via substances. That was his free will choice to do that. So there's no excuses on that front. But what I will say is, like, for the period of time that he was able to at least be there, I don't know how much of it was pretending, he was a participating player, like, nobody get that twisted. He worked hard. He brought the money. He cooked at home. He helped with the babies. He loved me. He actually, like, showed me love, gave me love through a lot of synchronicities, through a lot of God winks, through affection, kindness, thoughtfulness. So, I got a baby waking up. It's very early morning. Let's see if he'll go back to sleep. So, he wasn't this like loser teenage boy living in my house. It doesn't really, I guess on the one hand, I don't know how much that matters. I guess I just want to record it for the record in case I ever wonder, or in case I ever forget. It obviously, I don't know, it's kind of like, okay, let's give like that little tiny bit of credit where credit was due, but it's like, but then look what he did, so who the cares? Cool, you held it down for like 3-4 years, pretending to be a grown-up. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, it's conflicting for me, obviously. So, I guess I'm saying that from a place of like pride to be like, just so you all know, like, what he showed me about himself was a rising to the occasion and more. We made $50,000 in one weekend, like from plowing a snowstorm. Of course, we had a partner in with it. It was 3 of us. Like, I ran the phone lines, and anyway, I digress. The point is, he at least showed up and did things. But don't confuse forgiveness with partnering with evil. Like, I guess this is just a call for all of us to look at our lives and be like, in what relationships do I keep giving chances? Do I keep like giving grace, calling it chances? But it is actually partnering with evil in a way, because I'm allowing this to continue in my atmosphere that I am called to take dominion of. Every single soul that's in a vessel, in a body, has been given the call to take dominion of their atmosphere, of their experience. And if you have children, it's even more of a requirement, because you're supposed to be creating that safety and taking dominion of the atmosphere for your children who are not capable, old enough, whatever, to do that themselves. Like, they can't create their own shelter and stuff. So anyway, okay, I feel the nudge to... So this is the thing. If you don't know how you're going to get out of this, and if that's the reason that you're staying, and that's the reason that you've been continuing to put up with something that you hate, this is what you got to do. Start writing it down. Start thinking about the concepts of what the life that you dream of would have. And you don't even have to concern yourself about whether the person's in it or the person's out of it or whatever. Don't worry about those details. Just start thinking about like, oh, I'm so relieved now that my house is a place of peace. I'm so relieved that now my children reside in a home that isn't full of noise pollution and chaos, but now I'm in a place where my children reside, in a place where I'm balanced. All of the adults in the house are balanced and rooted, healing, responsible. Oh, I just love waking up to peace every morning. Wow, I just love waking up to knowing that my children are safe here now. So those are the things that you can start envisioning, meditating on it, write it out, maybe write out like, what does a day look like in your ideal life with your children, and write down the concepts, like how it feels. Oh, it's such a relief to know that like the money is here, and like I don't have this bunk ass dude spending the money. Like, whoa. Like, whoa, I can't believe some people live like that. Like, I'm not saying that as a shameful thing, or even not trying to diss anybody. It's just a way to point out, like, that is not acceptable. In case you come from somewhere, from a group of people where that has been the norm, it's not the norm. It should not be the norm. There should be partnership, responsibility, respect, caring about the other person's experience. Caring about the other person's experience being evolved and emotionally intelligent enough to actually define what each person needs in the experience. All right, I'm going to go cuddle my baby. Be blessed, be well, be free.